What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today.
The Indiana Pacers take a commanding 3-1 lead over the New York Knicks with a 130-121 Game 4 victory. New York, to the people of New York, the New York fans, especially the disgusting ones that like to do trash at people, y'all kind, especially, it's over. It's over. Highly unlikely the Knicks stage a 3-1 comeback to push their way into the NBA Finals. Not happening. It's not. And I'm happy. My analysis told me that the New York Knicks would win in 7, but my heart wanted the Pacers to win. So while I am taking a L in my NBA analysis, I'm happy with the results. The results that are soon to come, and those results will come. Trust me. The Pacers just outclassed the New York Knicks. Point blank, period. The Indiana Pacers are on another level offensively. That team is a well-oiled offensive machine. And Tyrese Haliburton is that main Power Ranger in the Megazord controlling that thing. And all the other Rangers right there in there with him, all taking their part and controlling that well-oiled machine. That is the Megazord. This is a hard team to defend. You don't know where it's going to come from. And they're rolling deep in their bench. And each and every one of those guys understand the system and have the chemistry and know where to be at the right time and are capable of making the shots. And everybody makes it easier for everybody. And Haliburton is the main setup man. Tyrese Haliburton played, I'm watching that game. And a couple videos ago, I said Tyrese kind of reminds me of Jason Kidd a little bit in some ways. And this was another example of, a peak Jason Kidd performance to some degree. Like when Jason Kidd gets into his scoring bag along with his rebounds and assists and his defense. He's not as good defensively as Jason Kidd, don't get me wrong. But you get what I'm talking about. When Jason Kidd has those 20, 30-point triple-double games, but he's just an absolute maestro at controlling pace, controlling tempo, putting people in their positions and setting people up with easy dimes. Like, Tyrese had all of that today. And I'm watching that game and how he's running that offense, his decision-making, when to shoot, when not to shoot, when to push the fast break, turning on the afterburners when necessary, things like that. He was just making so many good decisions. But while being aggressive offensively and looking to score the ball at the same time without monopolizing the ball, without disrupting the flow of the offense. They were hitting the Knicks from everywhere, all kinds of different ways. Half court and the full court and the fast break. Man, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I, for one, have never called Tyrese Haliburton overrated. Never ever crossed my mind at any point in his career. I always thought he had a nice game. Did I think he was a top 10 player in the league? No. But I thought he was a solid player. And if you understand how to utilize him correctly and put the right pieces around him, they'll flourish and he'll flourish. It's harmony. Rick Carlisle's done that. I think Tyrese Haliburton is better than Trae Young. Yeah, I think that. I think Trae Young is overrated. I don't think Haliburton is. Give a damn about the numbers. I tell you what, if you ask Rick Carlisle who he would rather have as his starting point guard, Luka or Tyrese Haliburton, without hesitation, I promise you, Rick Carlisle will say, I want my team to be led by Tyrese Haliburton. I promise you that. I promise you. Haliburton has been an absolute stud. What a hell of a game. Nothing like really loud, right? 45-point explosion, big, 20-point quarter that, stomped the Knicks into the ground. It was from beginning to end perfectly orchestrated and fairly consistent. I remember looking, he almost had a triple-double at halftime. I don't know what his final stats were. Let me look at the box score. I suspected he definitely completed a triple-double. 32, 12, and 15 on 11 for 23 shooting, 5 for 12 from 3. Add in 4 steals and, wow, 0 turnovers. 0 turnovers. 32, 12, 15, 4 steals with 0 turnovers. Taking care of that damn basketball. What else can you say? That's a damn near perfect game in my opinion. See, my eyes, just watching it, my eyes told me this guy's playing this game perfectly. And I look at the box score, and the box score matches what I had seen. That's crazy. I knew what I was looking at. And there was one fast break. I think he was on the right wing. He had the ball in hand. And there was an Indiana Pacer streaking ahead of him, but there were 2 defenders ahead of him as well. And I just remember him cranking it up for about a second or two. Burst of speed. Because I was like, I don't know if he's going to be able to make this pass. He went boom, afterburner. Whoa, chest pass right in his hand. Layup, fast break. I was like, that's a good read, Holly. That's a good read. And not only that, the Pacers have a solid group of, 3-and-D people or two-way players. I hate using that word. I do, but you get what I mean. Guys that play offense and defense. So they're not in a lot of situations where they got to take people out knowing that, they're sacrificing something tremendously on the other end of the floor. Guys are taking care of business on both ends. These are some of the most dangerous types of teams. It reminds me of the Golden State Warriors prior to Kevin Durant. But when they were just a well-oiled machine, deep. Yeah, shout out, man. Shout out to the Pacers. Shout out to Tyrese. The Knicks don't have that kind of offensive firepower. I didn't even get to Pascal Siakam. And some might argue that Pascal Siakam is actually the best player on the team. And I won't argue with you. I think Pascal Siakam is fabulous. Whether he's 1A, 1B, Batman, or Robin, I don't care. Like, there's definitely an argument for it. But Pascal is a consistent player that always shows up both ends of the floor. He does. He's been like that for quite some time now. Like, Siakam's no joke. You can lean on those 2 guys. And all these other guys chipping in appropriately, man, good luck. Good luck. Didn't they get to the Eastern Conference Finals last year? This will be their 2nd year in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And what makes the Haliburton thing interesting is that, he doesn't have to be a scorer, right? So trying to key in on, quote unquote, let's just say their best player and try to take them out the game offensively or take away their scoring like you might do other superstars. You're not doing it. You can't do that to Haliburton. He doesn't have to score. He doesn't. Haliburton is one of these guys that doesn't have a whole lot of flair, showing off, things like that. Won't make a lot of top 10s per se, but he keeps the game simple. And the people that can play the game at a high level while keeping it simple are the most dangerous ones at the same time. If the Knicks want to claw their way back in the series, which I do not think is going to happen, make no mistake about it, they're going to have to bring a super intense defensive effort from beginning to end. And all these guys are going to have to be a part of the offense. I'm not saying Jalen Brunson can't have a scoring game. He's a scorer or a cat, but these other guys have to come along too. And you have to find that cohesion between your stars and the other guys and the role players to make it all come together. Because the thing about role players too, a lot of times if they're not engaged offensively, they're not going to give you that defensive effort if they're not feeling engaged on the other end. That's another part to it as well. So I know sometimes Brunson can be considered a ball stopper, and I get it. I've seen it. But there can be harmony there between both. The Indiana Pacers are going to the NBA Finals whether you like it or not. Consider it karma for beating a man down with trash bags in New York City, New York Knicks fans. The disgusting New York Knicks fans. Consider that karma. And that guy that they beat up with trash was at the Indiana Pacers game 4. Yeah, got to meet the whole team and everything. I'm sure he had a great day. And I hope he goes back to New York after y'all get sent home crying. Well, you'll probably already be home if the Pacers wrap this up in game 5. So, I hope he goes back to New York because he is a New York City firefighter. And I hope he shows right back up with that Pacers jersey. Except in a dump truck and run all y'all over. Everyone that was in that crowd assaulting that man, I hope he runs you over in his fire truck or dump truck with trash. That's all I gotta say about it. Sound off in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. Catch you in the next one. We out, baby.